the maneuverability of this motorcycle is really good. When people like him start going bonkers on the road, you can easily maneuver this motorcycle. Alright guys, so here we have the Royal Enfield Himalayan BS6, and as you can see this thing over here, this is where the catalytic converter goes in. And see, the thing is that this motorcycle's engine and specs have been beaten to death already on YouTube, so I will not talk a lot about it. Just to tell you the numbers, this is a 411cc long stroke engine. So what it means is the piston travels more vertically, and that's the reason why this produces a lot more torque than any other motorcycle in this segment. Talking about the brakes, it comes with dual disc front and rear, and this is equipped with a dual channel ABS. As you can see, the ABS ring down there. And also the suspension, this is something which was newly introduced by Royal Enfield. I'm not sure if the camera can focus there. So this is a pro linked unit. This is not something which mounts on the swing arm. So this is a linked unit, and that's the reason why it has a lot more damping comparing it if you would have mounted it directly onto the swing arm. So this is the reason why it damps a lot more and it gives you a lot more comfortable ride. And here is a quick walk around of the motorcycle. If you talk about the design, it's as minimal as it can possibly get, and I really appreciate that Royal Enfield has not used a lot of plastic and fiber parts on it the way G310 GS is or a KTM 390 Adventure is. This is built to purpose, and even if you fall off the motorcycle, God forbid, but then even in that case the damage would be minimal and you do not have to replace all those plastic fiber parts. And talking in those terms, this is a metal bash plate. This is not a plastic one, the way you get it in the 390 Adventure. So this is made out of aluminum, and of course compared to plastic, this is more purposeful. So there it is, a quick look of the motorcycle, and I believe you already know about all these instrument clusters. You have miles per hour in the speedometer as well as along with the kilometers per hour, and you have the digital display here, rev counter, and here you have a small compass. Nobody knows why that compass is there, but then it's okay as long as it's there. It does not harm anything. And another important thing about this motorcycle is the seat. If you can see, the seat is really low. I am 5'8" for a reference, and as you can see on either side I can keep both the feet flat on the ground. So as long as you are 5'6", 5'7", or in that range, you can keep your feet flat on the ground. There should not be any problem at all. And talking about the ergonomics, it's fairly upright. There is a decent amount of bend on the handlebar which is towards the rider. And about the rider triangle, as you can see, there is a slight bend from the knee towards the rear, but this is not something like a completely rear set where you keep your feet this way. So this riding posture is very comfortable, and you can definitely go for long distances on this motorcycle. Enough of talking, let's go for a ride and see how it feels to ride. Alright, so if you can see, there is a slight amount of buzz in the mirrors and onto this windscreen, but then doesn't look like it's bothering. We'll get to know once we ride it. And adventure touring, adventure motorcycling is something that has not been in India, and it's only these two Indian manufacturers, Royal Enfield and Hero MotoCorp. So Hero MotoCorp introduced their Impulse quite some time back, but then that was a very underpowered motorcycle. It did not have the grunt to take you off the road, and that's when Royal Enfield came into picture. They brought this 411cc motorcycle which is more inclined towards the torque, and that's something what you need when you're off the road. You don't need outright horsepowers like the Adventure 390 does from KTM. It does not make those 42 horsepower. Instead, where it compensates is with the torque. So if I slow down now and if I bring the speed down to 40 kilometers per hour, as you can see it right here, I'm at 40 at the top gear. I don't need to downshift, I just need to open the throttle. There will be slight buzz and the motorcycle will just go. And the good thing is that this torque is available from very low down in the rev range. You do not have to be ringing the heck out of this engine to get the torque or to get the power. No, it's not required. And what it also helps you with is if you are in a gear higher in city traffic or somewhere, you don't really have to downshift. You can just open the gas and this motorcycle will go. And that's where the main difference is between this and the KTM 390 Adventure. There are 4 motorcycles as of today in this adventure, motorcycling segment. The first one is the Hero X-Pulse, and it's a 200cc engine. It's very, very lightweight, and it's again down on power as well, so it's good for beginners. But then if you are someone who likes a little bit of power, someone who likes to tackle off-road a little bit more, then that motorcycle won't do. Then comes the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and after this you have the BMW G310 GS, and then you have the 390 Adventure. So if you truly talk about adventure touring, this motorcycle does both the things. It justifies both the words really well. Be it adventure because it is purpose built. As you could see that the front is 21 engine and it has got really long travel suspension. It has got spoke wheels. For touring, it has got a decent setup. You can have the pannier boxes on the rear. You can add jerry cans over this part of it, and you can go as long as you want. The seat is very comfortable. The ergonomics is good. So as you can see, both the words adventure and touring are very well justified by this. But if you compare it to a 390 Adventure, the 390 it only justifies the word touring because it has outright horsepowers and it will take you from point A to point B really fast and really quick. But then if you show it some bad roads, that motorcycle will not be able to tackle it the way the Royal Enfield Himalayan can. Because Adventure is very, very reluctant in the lower revs, and that's where this motorcycle shines. And even though it is heavy, it is pretty heavy, but then it does not feel heavy at all. As you can see, the maneuverability of this motorcycle is really good. When people like him start going bonkers on the road, you can easily maneuver this motorcycle. And again, due to the low seat height, you get a lot of confidence. Look at this, it feels so good. The motorcycle is very, very nicely built, very beautifully built. And so as I was saying, that the adventure motorcycling was started by Hero MotoCorp, but then Royal Enfield got this one, and this actually had what an adventure motorcycle should have. It had bigger front suspension, it had a bigger engine, making more power, more torque. And again, the design, as you can see, is very, very minimalist, and it's a purpose-built motorcycle. So thank you very much, Royal Enfield, for bringing such a beautiful piece of machine to us. While the Japanese quote-unquote big manufacturers were busy making scooters and changing the colors and stickers and all of that stuff on their existing portfolio for more than a decade and a half, Royal Enfield has definitely taken a bolder step and got this motorcycle. Of course, the BS4 model had a bunch of issues. Those are all resolved with this. So if you want to go a little faster, there you will get a slight amount of buzz into the mirrors, which is already there, and minimal vibrations on the handlebar foot pegs. The seat, you will not feel anything because it's very, very plush. So but as far as I can understand, a 90, 100 or 110 would be a sweet spot for this motorcycle, wherein the engine would not be strained a lot and it would behave well. Look at it, we were at third gear, under 40 kilometers per hour, and just picked it up. That's what makes this engine so tractable. It is like very, very friendly. And another good thing about this is that out of the showroom floor, you do not need any kind of a modification whatsoever. The only extra fitment that you would have to do is a pair of auxiliary lights, because this comes with halogen bulbs, and those are not sufficient for highways. And that's the reason why you would need slightly better lights. It's a very rounded, very complete package in itself. Over the bad surfaces, you won't literally feel anything at all. It just soaks up all the undulations, all the bad surface on the roads, as if they don't even exist. I'm in love with this motorcycle. Again, thank you very much, Royal Enfield, for making such a wonderful piece of machine. And thank you guys for tuning in to this video. I hope you guys liked it. In case you did, do give it a thumbs up, and you can drink a thumbs up, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whatever. And if you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Have a really good time. Ride safe and stay safe. Bye bye.